I've been getting so many calls and emails from people that have been asking the question to say, TJ, how to work with contractors effectively? How do you do it? You're in the real estate space, and there's many contractors that you work with on your small projects, big projects. How do you do it? And there is some form of a recipe to go with, which I'm going to be sharing with you. And with this, my friends, I am just going to jump into it because on Mondays, it's an educational videos and it's very short. We've got a limited time, so I'm just going to shoot into it. If we are meeting for the first time, my name is TJ, your host, and I'm a former banker and founder here at the TJ Tribe. And I do business with a focus in student accommodation, flips, which is buy and sell, and coaching, with the hope that all of us, as young, upcoming modern parents, we can be able to have passive income from real estate. Welcome to the channel. The first one that I'm going to speak to here is, I call it the SOW, S-O-W, right? So use a clear scope of work. Some of you who have done project management, you're like, hey, we know that word, abbreviation, scope of work. Right, so what does it mean for scope of work? And this is where it gets blurry. I used to do this in my early investment. I'll go on a project. I would have given the scope of work, but I go on a project and then that scope of work just increased. And I didn't know that it was increasing also my budget spent on the project. But here I'm going to share with you what it's all about. So the first one is that if you've got a clear scope of work, try to make sure that your clear scope of work is in a written manner. So you're passing it on to the contractor as a written document. You are including materials, the brand spec of it, color schemes if you do have it, and you including I want to say this very importantly, contractors are not always clean people. You are including in your written scope of work even the cleaning expectations, and you can include project milestones, who is responsible for what and when. Now that's a clear document that you have now drafted that, and you are passing it on to the next person as your contractor to say, this is the scope of work. Now, each time you visit the project, if you change the color from green to orange, that might have an impact on your spend. If there's a problem on the project and something came up, the moment you change it, make sure that you already know that there's going to be a change in your budget. So does it make sense? But at least you've got a guideline now. There is no, you didn't tell me this, you didn't tell me that. It's clear, it's straightforward, it's written. They've got a copy, you've got a copy, and you're ticking off that copy as you go along. Have a written contract. That's the next point. Have a written contract, right? Your contract obviously should then include the scope of work, payment schedules, based on the milestones, not time. You know, after 1 week, you come and pay us 200. I don't like that. Or every week you pay us 500. I don't like that. I like to pay, we are at window level, we pay 5,000. The doors are in place and painted, 5,000. The roof is there, 5,000. The whole place is painted, another 5,000. I'm left with 5,000, and when I do the final cleanup, I give you 5,000. Milestone. Cha. That's me, right? Include in your document things like timelines. Yes, important. How about this one is a lot of people don't like to do this, but I like to do it. How about penalties? Include penalties on delays or even poor work. How's that? What do you think? What do you think? Tell me in the comments, what do you think about this one? If poor work, and I'm talking here if the workmanship is wrong, and if it's legally allowed in your area, not if it's illegal for what they have done, then who is going to be responsible there? Is it you or is it them? I'm hoping that this is making sense for you and you're now thinking a little bit deeper around it. If there is a plan, and on this plan, it was very specific from the council that it needs to be done, like this. But then they come in to do something else. Who's responsible, you or them? They are. But they've used material now. So who's going to pay? They are. Does it make sense? Right. But if it's not in a written contract like this, then it becomes a gray area. I've got a cool book that I do think that everyone who has never been a millionaire before, so if you don't have a million or you don't have assets that get you to R1 million, you want to be in this competition that we are going to be running in the month of this month. What do you need to do? At the bottom of the comments, all you need to do is type the word April, and then thereafter you comment something amazing, something that you have learned or whatever it is. And that book that I am going to be sharing with you, for those that are going to be commenting and for those that are going to win, is my own very book that I wrote, which is called Be the First Millionaire in Your Family. So this is for you who have never been a millionaire before and you're trying to figure out on how to become a millionaire. And I wrote this book after I realized that I did a couple of deals with a couple of strategies, and they got me to R1 million. And I was like, whoa. So it's actually quite easy to get to R1 million. And within that, it's secrets of how you can become a millionaire. Next point, as we move on quickly, this is now use payment milestones. I spoke to this one before, but I never pay the full payment up front. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Okay? Don't do that, please. All right. So never pay all upfront. This is, I've seen bad things happening. Contractors disappearing. I've seen that. Right. Now, suggest this type of payment. 10% deposit, the work hasn't started. 30%, maybe if there's a demolition or some work, primary work that needs to be done. 30%, we are now in the rough idea of what it is, an additional 30%. So you can see now we are at around about 70%. 30%, an additional 30% when the final work through is done. And now you're left with another 10%. And the last 10% is when you do a cleanup, or when they've done the cleanup and the project is finished and is to your satisfactory. So you always hold on to your money, to some money. Does it make sense? I hope so. Right. Now, next point, which is point number 4. Do regular walkthroughs. You come to your project, visit the site multiple times a week or maybe once a week. It doesn't really matter. Unannounced if possible. And also take photos, ask questions, engage with your contractor and compare against your scope of work. So remember, you got a scope of work, that document, and you can compare around that. Where are they in the project, and when likely are you going to be paying the next amount of money? Does it make sense? Easy. Right. Number 5, document everything. If possible, do emails. But not all contractors can do emails, but they can do WhatsApp. Okay, so do WhatsApp, right? Changes in the order or changes in anything that needs to be changed, because whatever changes there is going to affect the payment or it's going to affect the budget, right? So track all receipts, photos, before, the now, the after, timelines, and just keep all of your records, man. It's just helpful. It's just helpful in terms of, especially from a tax perspective, real estate, you can claim all of these expenses and you'll need them for future references when SARS is saying, we are not paying you for A, B, C, D. I got one of my boys who put in a claim for some of the work that he had done on a building, and SARS said no, and that was about just below 500,000. So, and now because his accountant and him, they are diligent in keeping receipts and pictures. They showcased the building before and after and how much they had spent in between, and SAD said yes. Simple. Right? Don't go away. What I'm going to do is here, I want to give you some, what I call some pro tips for experienced investors, right? Some pro tips. So point number 6 is be friendly. Be friendly, but firm, right? Actually, I think the point there should be keep emotions out of it. Keep emotions out of it. And then the first point there would be friendly, but firm. Does it make sense? So you're friendly, you're approachable, people can talk to you, but be firm in what you're saying, in the decisions that you're making. If a contractor is behind or off track, address it directly, right? And refer back to your contract to say, we should have been here, we should have been here. Don't, we're not finished. You're throwing your tantrums all over the show. What for? Don't. Keep your calm, but be firm and let them know that you're the boss. If you're in property investment, at some point or the other, you have had to evict someone. And I know, my friends, it is a painful exercise. But I'm here to tell you that for the last couple of years, I've been using a company that is called Expello. Expello, basically what they do is that you pay them a monthly fee. And over and above that, whenever you get a delinquent tenant, they will come and evict that individual free of charge, because obviously you've been paying, right? And over and above that, you don't have to do anything. But guess what? I have managed to organize a good price for you. And the link here that you're seeing, which is called expello.link./TJ Tribe, gets you a great discount from Expello. So my friends, don't be caught with your pants down on your tenant. Just Expello them with Expello. It is TJ. Let's go back to the video. Right now, I did say that I'm going to give you some quick tips for those of you who are wanting to elevate from, just being the investor to the pro. I'm giving you the pros now. So these are some of the tips that you can move on to become like the greatest. You becoming to have a firmer handle on your business. Tip number 1 is that pay attention to the contractor's crew. Right? I generally want to get there, and I'm not on projects sites all the time. But I want to identify whether it's the same people. So I ask people's names. What's your name? John. Oh, John, you're the electrician. Okay, all right. I mark faces. John has got a scar face. Yeah. John, he wears a orange overall. He's a Sutu guy. He's a Xhosa guy. He's Zulu. Whatever. I mark people. Right. I that's how my mind works. I've got a visual, and I find something about that guy. He's got 15 kids, right? Like, for instance, there's one of the guys who's Zulu who's got 2 kids. Not 2 kids, 2 wives. He's a general. He's not skilled in the contractors department. He's not skilled at all. So he's a general guy. They use him as a general guy. So they were celebrating him to go and marry his second wife. And I'm like, bro, you got 2 wives. Anyway, I'm digressing. Not digress. Let me leave that for Saturday stories. Yeah. Okay, right. So pay attention to the crew. Make sure that obviously you are seeing if there is a higher turnover, that can potentially be a red flag. Does it make sense? So if the contractor is changing his team members all the time, there's a problem. The second one is that this is pro tips, for the experienced investors, or you want to be an experienced investor. Don't be the highest paying client. Because what normally happens if you're the highest paying clients, you're fast to pay and you're upfront, you may get pushed at the bottom of the priority list because you pay fast. So they use your money now to go and close off the other projects, and your project is not happening. So stick to your scope of work in terms of the payment schedules. I hope that makes sense to you. This third point around these pro tips is use project management tools. There's so many of them. I'm a qualified project manager. I've done project management courses. I'm a PMBOK. I'm a Prince 2. Which other one am I certified with? In recent times, before I left the bank, there's 2 others that I also got certified in. But the bottom line is that there's many project management softwares that you can use. Some of them are free. You can use Trello, you can use Monday, Build a Trend, Google spreadsheet. You can use that, and you can use them to track timelines, tasks, and just be on top of your project, man. That's what it's all about. So you are managing the manager here, right? The last one, which is the very best important one of effectively working with contractors. Build your bench. What do I mean by that? When you're working with contractors, they are going to disappoint you. They're going to get a bigger project somewhere else. They are going to not pitch up. So you want to have, like soccer. In soccer, there's 11 people that play soccer inside, right? And there's 5 people that are on the bench. So you get it now. Build the bench. So on the bench, have multiple other contractors on the bench. So have 2 or 3. So always have 2 or 3 contractors for each trade. So if this one is busy or lets you down, you got another one to contract. Does it make sense? And now, if you rely on one, you're going to be in trouble. Never rely on one. I think that's my point there. Is I land the ship, the plane. But it's great hanging out with you, my friends. I hope this has been of great value to you. And let me know in the comments if you have any other tip. I apologize, this video has been a little bit longer than usual, but I had to give this to you. Until we see each other again right here at the TJ Tribe, keep on asking those questions in the comments. I am answering these questions that you have asked us. God bless.